Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech, and last week I decided to challenge myself to only use the Odroid xu4 for the week as a main desktop and see how I like it, see the turnout, and give you guys a little bit of a review of what I think of this guy. So here's how it went. Alright, so this is day one of me using the Odroid xu4. I decided to choose Ubuntu Minimal, and then I installed, what do you call this, KDE Plasma on there. It looks really good, especially all the GUI stuff that you get. It's like if I click on this, everything fades in. So far it's doing okay. It's struggling if I do drag the window around. Actually, not too bad, but like a window program like this, that big, it struggles. The CPU is okay, but it does get, right now it's okay. It doesn't seem to be that bad. 41 degrees Celsius. I know I'm going to complain about this in the future, but for now I'm just going to play around with KDE and see how it works out. And yeah, let's see how it goes. I'm going to have to install my softwares on here. And mainly I don't play games, but I'm going to start putting in some software, a little bit of games to see how it does. I'm really not that happy because it can't do 4K. This is a 4K monitor, and maximum resolution this guy could do is 1920 by 1200 or 1080, whichever you want to choose. But this screen could go up to 1200. So I'm kind of stuck on the low resolution compared to other boards that I tried, like the Tinker board. That could go 4K easy. But yeah. Okay, so larger software like Chromium browser peaks because of the hard drive speed. So we're going to have to rectify that by probably installing an SSD. I'm probably going to have to do that because I could load the application pretty fine. The CPU isn't peaking, but it's mainly because the hard drive speed is really slow. I'm running off an SD card, so you know the limitations are about 20 megabytes, and that's where it really kind of peaks around 20 megabytes. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to fix that just so I can get better response time on opening apps and everything. So see you in a bit. Alright, so I finally had the chance to install the SSD into my Odroid. If you take a look at this, you can see it's 106 gigabytes. Where's my mouse? 106 right here. SDA, and that's my root partition, and everything is running fast. Like, check this out. I could pop up a Chromium web browser, and look at that, almost instant. It's really fast. And if you take a look, right now it didn't show that much like the SD card, but its read and write is very impressive right now. So I'm going to keep it on this. I do need to add a swap so I can use more programs than what it's allowed with 2 gigs of RAM. That's another thing I'm going to be adding, and I'm going to fine-tune the system a little bit. But so far it's very usable. I'm actually able to play YouTube and open a couple of other Chrome browsers, remote desktop and stuff like that. It's so far very usable with an SSD. So highly recommended. I don't have a eMMC to test, but comparably I think it's about the same. I think SSD might be slightly faster, but that's I can't compare. I don't have one to compare. But so far the SSD is doing great. This is only 120 gigabyte. It was very easy to install. All you have to do was a DD copy. So you DD the partition 2 of the SD card to partition 1 of your SSD, and then in the boot.ini file you add the UUID, and then in the FS tab you also add the UUID. You change it basically to SSD, and right away it worked. So I didn't have any problem having it boot from SSD at all, or the USB, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so new issue. The problem is right now the Wi-Fi module that I used to have over here. When the SSD is in there, I was getting intermittent drops, like the Wi-Fi would just completely drop off. So you can't power 2 things at this port. I tried to swap it with my keyboard into this port, and that wouldn't work too. So what I ended up doing was adding a USB 2.0 hub, which has my keyboard and my Wi-Fi dongle, and it's working pretty good. I also decided to add the swap. So what I'm using is, if you're familiar with Raspberry Pi, you use the D-Physical swap file. It's like a config that you can pull. I installed it on the Ubuntu, And all I have to do is a config, and I'm going to add a 2 GB swap partition into this guy. Okay, so as far as the ending conclusion, day 4, 5, and 6, I didn't really do 7 because I'm editing and stuff, but day 4, 5, and 6, I really put the hammer on this guy. I mean, I used it for work, and for obviously work purposes. There's sensitive information that I can't really record, so that's why I don't have footage of those days. But I am going to show you what I've been kind of doing and giving you more of a demonstration and a conclusion all together in this. Yeah, let's just go. Hopefully you get the idea right now. I'm just filming with my camera. I'm not really doing a screen capture. And over here you have the terminal, and you can see it tears a little, but it actually works really well. And overall, the system is very good. I mean, it's very stable. It's fast enough to maintain what I need to do. I downloaded a hard drive meter so I could see what's going on, and I have all my other processes down here, so you can see. This is a fresh boot, so I didn't really do anything yet. Booted up with 510 megs of RAM being used, and this is the KDE desktop, so it's overall a very hungry desktop already. I did disable the compositioning, so you don't see the drop shadows and all that stuff, or the transparency, which helps a lot. But even though the desktop itself is very heavy and it's able to use it very well, it's extremely responsive, and you can see it just jumps up on the hard drive scale, and my Chrome is already booted up. And if I needed to do something like YouTube, the site loads almost instantly, like a regular desktop. And obviously, if you can't tell, let me show you guys something. I have a video on this already, but if you guys don't know or haven't done this before, Pi-hole is absolutely a very good software to block all your ads, and you can see 44% of the ads are being blocked. Like literally, I seriously, like no joke, I did this for my son because every time he's on the iPad, he could play like one game and then there's an ad, one game and then there's an ad, and for him to just get through one game, he has to spend like a minute because every ad is 30 seconds. So this is really for him, and you could see, look at this, 44%. Let me see if I can show you more detail. And you see how everything is so responsive. And here's, as you can see, look at this, 15,000 total queries, 7,000 being blocked. That means they're all ads and stuff like that. And when my son's on this, now he could actually use his iPad without having like 9,000 ads. I mean, I get it, the ads, because they need to make money, but for children games, seriously, it's ridiculous the amount of stuff that they have on the ads and the ads itself. So yeah, ultimately you can see this is very, very good. I have a tutorial. I'll leave a link in the card right up here to show you guys how to install it on a Raspberry Pi. But yeah, web browsing is amazing. And I'm going to pop up a song, and then I'll give you my detailed thoughts in a few minutes. And look, it just pops right away. Now normally my main desktop, I'm going to mute this, doesn't have ad block. A lot of my computers don't have ad block on it. I mainly just use this for my son's laptop and stuff like that. But this computer, since it joined the regular network, it's going to have ad block on there. So that's why you didn't see an ad in the beginning. What else? I do a lot of RDP. So on my day-to-day basis, I'm actually on a lot of remote desktop sessions and stuff like that for other Linux machines or Windows machines. So that's really good. And as you can see, the video is still playing really well as I'm doing multitask stuff. And it didn't kick in the swap, but usually it does. A swap is very, very important. Let me see if I can zoom into this. Like swap space, I gave it 2 gigs. It's not using it right now, but again, it's very important because once you get heavily into all these tasks, you're gonna need a swap disk. This is my Octoprint server, so that's pretty cool itself. Pi server, got the YouTube going. Terminals. I could run a lot of programs with this, and it works really, really well. Ultimately, in the end, if you want to use this as a desktop, go for it. I mean, it is very stable. It's fast enough to do whatever. It is missing some key features like graphic acceleration, even though it includes MISA and all that stuff. But I did find some certain programs didn't want to run the graphic accelerations. I don't know if it's Ubuntu based or something like that, but I didn't get into too much detail because I was really using it for work, so I didn't really need graphic acceleration. Chrome browser seems to be working way much better than the Firefox. I was able to do multimedia much better. Again, another thing you do need to know, absolutely you need an SSD. You do need a hub because the port does not power enough, so you definitely need a USB powered hub for this. Also, I don't have a fan on it right now, but you do need a fan. It gets hot even with the Q version, and the throttling is really bad. The throttling is like a nightmare. You really need to put a fan on this guy. I don't see this replacing my desktop, but I could definitely use this as a good side Linux machine if I need to do some DD or some Linux commands and such like that. So if I have like another monitor set up somewhere, I would definitely put that on there. For entertainment purposes, it's okay. It does run YouTube. Netflix and stuff doesn't work. Also, the audio, there's no audio out. So what you have to do is either get HDMI TV that has audio out. That's what I'm doing right now. My monitor supports audio out. So the HDMI goes into my monitor. Then I have like a audio cable that goes to my main speaker. So that works. Or you could get something like this, where it's HDMI and has the audio out and the VGA cable. Now I have a couple of these for regular HDMI and for the micro HDMI for Raspberry Pis and stuff, and they work very well for the audio out. So if you're missing, if you don't want to plug in a USB port or something like that for audio, you could always use one of these guys, and they're like $7. That's basically about it. I know it's a little bit raw. I'm not used to doing this type of video, and I kind of want to do this. This was really fun. I really got to use the crap out of this guy, and one big issue, like I said, it's the heating. It throttles like crazy, and I'm just doing normal tasks, like a couple of browsers up, Office applications, and remote desktop and stuff like that, and really kills it. I'm not even doing, well, I always have YouTube up on the side just to keep some background noise. And yeah, I know it's very raw. You might not have been able to see a lot of stuff. This is my first time doing this type of video, so if you guys are interested, I'll try to fine-tune this type of style of video, and I'll make more for other boards if you're interested to see. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you guys have any questions about this, hit them in the comments below. If you guys are new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hitting that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And as I say in my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.